This is the Wifed Up Now What podcast. I'm Coriel.
And I am TK.
And we got some real wives. We got some real wives in the building. Somebody said it's a real wife girl shit happening.
Somebody said that.
So if you don't happen to know some real wives in your life, then this is the conversation that you have probably been praying for, because we are about to keep it really real, okay? Giving y'all some real resources and some real life feedback, inspiration, experience based on our years as happy wives.
Okay.
Are we all happy wives?
That part.
Please say that.
Okay,
part.
all right.
Gotta say
So
that.
Let's let the ladies introduce themselves. Hey, girl.
Hey, girl.
Tell the people who you are.
My name is Nicole Davis. What else you want to know?
I'm a wife. I'm a mom.
I'm a wife.
I've been married for...
I'm sorry. So I've been married for almost 16 years next week.
Ooh.
Yep. And I have twin 13-year-old boys and a 6-year-old boy, entrepreneur, that type of stuff. But
That
we're
type
here
of
about
thing.
wife life.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So real wife shit. Okay.
Yes.
Hey, Mickey.
Hey, girl, hey.
Tell the people.
I'm
Who's
Mickey Bay.
Yes.
I'm Mickey Bay. I am a life and relationship coach. That's my occupation. I've been a wife for 7 years, and it's been a continuous 7 years because my husband and I got engaged on our first date and married 90 days later. So it's been the whole time. I've
Period.
been with him every day. And we have 3 kids. We have twins as well. So we have twin girls who are in college, and I have a 4-year-old.
Yes. The span.
Yes.
Yes.
So I got
Ooh.
bonus girls,
Uh-huh.
but
Beautiful.
they're all ours.
All ours.
I know that's right.
Yes.
Yes.
And TK, the people know, but for the people who don't, how long have you been married?
We have been married for 7 years, together for 8. Story similar. First date, got pregnant. 6 months later, engaged. Another 6 months, married.
I love it.
Yeah,
You have
4
babies?
daughters. Yeah, we have 4 daughters. So I have 2 bonus daughters, 17, 13, and then ours together is 7 and 6. Back to back.
So 4, 3, 3. And I'm rounding it out with 2. I don't, and not 2 under 2, but a 2.5, a 7-month-old. I am the new wife on the couch, so maybe this conversation is for me. Let's see. I'm going up on 3 years. Coming
Okay.
up on 3 years. I don't have like a quick wham bam thank you ma'am story. But we met in the club. I guess that's my love in the club is our thing. So today's conversation though is meant to be a resource and a solution for everybody who wants to throw the divorce statistics in our faces. I don't know about y'all, but before I got married, it wasn't scaring me from getting married. I wasn't so scared that I wasn't going to get married, but it was definitely something to consider entering a marriage knowing that the statistics were, I have a 50% chance that this is not going to last for a lifetime.
Right.
So that's the deep conversation we're going to get into later. But we're going to warm it up just a little bit first. So I'm going to say a phrase or a word. I got one for each of y'all. And I just want you to say the first thing that comes to mind. Okay. All right. Nicole, gender roles.
First thing that comes to mind would be false.
Okay. False. Let's talk about it. What's false? They're not really gender roles?
I think that I think that it's subjective to every couple, to every marriage. I think that could be one of the problems with marriage is everyone is going and thinking, okay, my man is going to do this. My husband's supposed to do this. My wife is supposed to do this. And my wife is going to do this. And we're also basing it off of what we've seen growing up, or if we have seen examples growing up. But the truth of it all is to create your own plan, create your own roles, establish who's going to do what. And guess what else? It changes. And it's going to keep changing. And it's going to keep changing.
It's not written in stone.
Definitely nothing's written in stone. So,
What about y'all? Y'all got gender roles in y'all marriages?
Ooh, baby, no. We tried. For the first couple of years, me growing up in the church, it was very much implanted in me that a man does this and a wife does this. And then I realized how miserable I was holding on to something that is just literally made up. I'll take out the trash sometimes. You can put these girls in the bathtub sometimes. You can cook tonight. I'm working all day. You got the house. You gonna clean up. And so, it made us miserable. We tried it for sure. And being young, because I was 21 when I got with my husband. So I'm like, this is the way it goes. I'm supposed to bust my tail all day and give it up at night and cook in the morning and take
Bust
out
my tail all day and bust it open at
bust it
night.
open at night.
Wide
Like,
open.
I'm just supposed to do all of these things. And then I was like, I'm tired.
Right.
I need a break.
And I don't like
Husband.
it.
Yeah. And I feel like I was giving him a pass. Like, he only had to work. Oh, no. You're raising these kids with me, too.
That
You're
part.
cleaning this house. You live in here. We're going to clean
Right.
this house
We're
together.
real fluid under
Facts.
this roof.
Oh, yes.
You do what needs to be done. What you think, Mickey?
We have never been traditional. So my husband actually was a stay-at-home dad for 14 months.
Okay.
And that was, my baby was 7 months when COVID started. And it just made sense. I was not comfortable putting him in a daycare. And at that time, my job, my trajectory was just, I couldn't give it up at that point, at the place that I was in my career. And he took the L. I mean, this was not our plan, but he was just like, look, I want to do whatever it takes to support you. And he was honestly the best parent to do it. Like, that would have not been my ministry.
Baby, is that a thing? Is that a word
That's
right
a
there?
thing.
That's a
That's
bar.
a
Another
word.
episode
Oh,
because
that's a
that's
bar.
a whole uncomfortable conversation.
Yeah,
Yes.
he was the best parent to do it.
Yeah.
I
Wow.
mean, I would consider myself to be an alpha woman, but I'm also traditional. So I grew up thinking I was going to have a man that was a provider and I was going to be like this homemaker and stay-at-home wife. And my life did not support that narrative. And so I really love what I do. I love my career. And I'm so fortunate that the man that I'm with supports me over everything. So he's more so like, I want to do whatever I need to do to make sure you can be your best person. If that's not staying home with a kid, then don't stay home with a kid. Go do what fulfills you. So I have never had a traditional relationship in gender roles. We do what needs to be done. And as a matter of fact, one of my girlfriends stayed with us. She was in transition. And she was like, I've never seen a married couple work so well together because we just know what needs to be done. And we pitch in. If I see that he needs help in something, I help him. If he sees I need help, he does it. I'm not like waiting like, oh my God, I didn't do the dishes. No, he'll do the dishes.
Okay.
So no, for us, gender roles, no.
I don't want to take out the trash though. Let's just say that.
I don't take out
I
the
don't
trash.
wanna
I will
take
say
out
that. I
the
don't do that
trash.
part.
TK,
But
you
I
over there
will
taking out
if
the
I have
trash?
to. If I
I
have to.
mean, because I feel like sometimes I get irritated by looking at it,
And
and
then
my
you just don't
husband
take it
works
out.
all day, so I am the stay-at-home mom. I am home all day. If I see it, let me stop lying. I don't be taking out that trash.
Don't lie.
Because-
you see the video when it's like, I love having a husband. It's like the trash does not exist in this house. I'm just walking by.
Right.
Like, I don't even have a trash can. I
Right.
don't even.
What is
trash.
that?
What?
What's that?
What is that?
No, what
yeah,
that
in my
is.
mind, I take it out, but I am I'm the wife that's like push it out off the wall so you can see it
You
more.
See, you're gonna have to walk
Right.
like
around
you
it.
gotta walk
You gonna
around
take
it
the
to get to
trash
that
out. Yeah.
that pantry you're trying to get in. The trash can gonna be right in front of it.
So
Right.
you're just a little
Right.
persuasive. It's gonna get taken out.
Okay, power of persuasion.
Okay, Mickey, this is for you. What comes to mind when you hear the phrase "big wedding"?
Waste of money.
Mm.
It's for everyone else. And I am all for you doing what you want, but I think the reasons most women want it is for the show. It's for, especially nowadays in the age of social media, right? Where you want to have the pictures to show and you want to make us go through this for the whole year till your first anniversary. We got to look at all these pictures because you just spent $100,000 on this wedding.
Yeah.
So, I can't knock them because I was that girl that wanted that. But when it came my time, we eloped. My wedding was $500. And a lot of the people, no shade, that spent $100,000 on their wedding or more are divorced today.
Yeah.
So when I was doing my research and doing the wife talks, right, with the wives in my life, and I kind of polled them and said, like, did you have a big wedding? Did you courthouse it? What did you do? Overwhelmingly, the marriages that were thriving and successful were people who were just like, it was us. And
They weren't
in a
worried
courthouse.
about
They
the
weren't worried
show.
about it.
Yeah.
Because it's about the marriage, not just the wedding.
Yeah.
That part.
Yeah.
Did anybody have a big wedding?
I've had 2 weddings.
Really?
I had a wedding and a vow renewal.
Okay. I was gonna say
Okay.
2 weddings,
Yeah.
one man. How you work that out?
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but my first wedding, I was very budget conscious about planning and everything. But my husband and I always say, if we could have scrapped the first wedding, we would have. We had a blast for our vow renewal. All 3 of our boys were here. You know, it was smaller and intimate, and we just had fun. Of course, we were more established, but overall, I agree. if you can dodge that bullet, I'm not gonna call it a bullet, but
It's a bullet, girl.
it's
It'll take you
so
out.
especially when you get into those close to six figures or past six-figure weddings. And like you said, social media is so heightened, and then you're trying to create these moments to go viral for your wedding. The photographer wants to go, you're getting this
Yes.
high-end photographer and this videographer, and it's too much. And after the wedding, and not to sound morbid, but it's kind of like after a funeral. That's when the real stuff hits. You know what I'm saying? Like the dress is hung up to never be used again. The tuxedos, if you bought them or if you rent them, they're back. Nothing in that wedding, besides possibly what the pastor said, is going to be applicable and of any use
My God.
to that marriage going forward.
Let's talk about the fact that folks don't even buy you gifts no more.
Baby,
That's
So
true.
you done spent
they just want to see.
$100,000. You done fed these people lamb chops
Okay.
Oh, y'all serve
Salmon
lamb
and
chops?
sea bass.
Right.
And they didn't even bring you a gift card.
Okay.
No,
tell
because
that.
you see that's me because I'm
I
looking
can
you in your
tell.
eye. You,
I can tell that
you
was
know
a
who you
moment
are.
just now.
That's a moment. I couldn't. I would never go to somebody's
Oh no,
wedding.
I
Yeah,
don't go
you done did
anywhere
all of this
empty-handed.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but,
You
but
know,
I,
and you
I
done
do.
ate the food and did
But
the
some
thing.
people, believe it or not, in your case, some people just wanted to be there
to see. Yeah, I want to be there
Correct.
to see.
to see and,
Yo, when I
and to
tell
say
you,
they were there.
that was one of the biggest wastes of money.
That wedding.
And the way that we were like, I don't want to say arguing, the way that we were having disagreements,
The stress.
The
the
friction.
stress of it, your family asking you questions, like
Baby.
the stress of
Unnecessary
that it puts
drama.
on you
Yeah.
to do this for somebody else
Yeah.
is crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's
But you know
crazy.
what? When you have never had it, and that's why I said I don't
It's the
knock
fairy
it
tale thing.
if
Yes.
you want it, because
Yeah.
we are programmed to want this, right? And so I don't knock any woman that says this is her day,
Yeah.
and this is how she wants it to be. But I think part of the reason we're having this conversation is because you don't know what's on the other side. And when you get on the other side, you're like, dang, I wish I would have put that on a down payment for a house, or I would have put that, a nest egg, or invested it, or whatever, rather than just literally
let it go away.
exactly.
And then the
Throwing
people who
it
are
away.
still paying for it.
that part, you went in
Like y'all
debt
still
for it.
arguing about it because now you're in debt
debt
and now
for
y'all
it.
still gotta
Yeah.
pay for it. It's a
My
thing.
God.
It's a thing.
Half of those people you won't even know. Like statistically, most people don't. They're not even friends with their bridesmaids.
Oh,
Girl, I
yeah.
done lost
Right?
2 of them. And I got married how long ago? My wedding was a year ago.
Oh
It's a
my
real
God.
thing.
It's a
Weddings
real
and
thing.
funerals.
Weddings and
Bring
funerals.
the worst,
out of
people.
people.
That is
That's
so
why I
true.
said that.
Yeah.
I lost my 2 best friends, so I know that it's not worth the money. But do what you gotta do for you.
What did y'all do, TK?
Oh my gosh. On my wedding day, I was in the hallway in my dress crying on the floor. It was probably one of the worst days of my life.
Girl, I feel bad for saying that.
It was terrible.
thought.
And,
That's
and honestly, not for money sake, for people sake.
Yeah.
I would have rearranged them what they call bridesmaids.
Bridesmaids.
I would have rearranged so many things. And mine wasn't even desiring this big grand day. I just wanted to feel special.
Right.
I just wanted to celebrate my marriage and all of that. And oh my gosh, if I would have done it all over again, it would have been literally me, my husband, my kids, and a pastor. Like I would have done that so much smaller and put it in our honeymoon. Let's go kick it. Forget them people.
That part.
Y'all see us on Facebook and Instagram. But yeah, it was a horrible day.
Yeah.
Take it from us, guys. This is supposed to be real wife girl shit. Okay,
Yeah.
let's talk about it. So, we got some videos to react to because y'all know it gets real crazy out here on these social media
Oh,
streets.
Jesus.
Yes.
So we got some videos. I want to see what y'all think. Let's roll it.
They wildin'.
They are wilding out here.
And woke you up at 2 a.m.
You got to start it. Start it from the beginning.
Would you cook your
Can
man a meal if he woke you up at 2
Can you
a.m.?
replay it?
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
wait.
Yeah, this
Mhm, I
video.
know.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Your man woke
Is this
you
gonna
up
piss me
at
off?
2 a.m. He said, baby, can you cook me a meal? Would you cook your man a meal if he woke you up at 2 a.m.?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you, Kiki?
Because I'm feeling tired. It depends.
Oh, it depends.
It depends on the situation.
Here's another question. If an intruder broke inside the house, would you expect your man to go downstairs and handle that break at the door?
So, first question. Would you cook your husband a meal at 2 a.m.? Yes or no?
Yes.
Absolutely.
16 years. What you say, sis?
It's depends on the situation.
What's the meal?
I
Okay.
say yes.
Okay.
Blanket,
Regardless.
Regardless.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
Because I don't have an arbitrary ass husband. So if he asks me, it's a reason.
Okay.
And I trust him enough to if he waking me up out my sleep, because I go to bed at 8:00. So if he waking me up out my sleep to cook him, I mean, I'm an old woman on the inside.
In my
but
spirit.
I'm by the time he gets into bed, he's usually in bed by like 11. If he were to wake me up at 2 a.m., I would know he was like in pain. Something was happening that he needed this
So the
meal.
circumstances.
So I would ask questions later. I would follow directions first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bar.
You know, hey, you know.
And you say yes, no questions asked.
Definitely. I'm doing that.
Okay.
I mean, because I feel like, well,
Go. What?
I feel like most time, I mean, it's probably because we just got it in anyways. So yeah,
And
I'm giving
the
you
cause
some.
of why he's hungry.
Yeah,
Give me a little
I'll
snack.
work you out.
Okay.
Here's your. But it's
Here's
also
your treat. I worked you out.
what type of meal are we talking about? Are we talking about I gotta thaw chicken out? We frying it?
Oh God.
You know what I'm saying? I'm cutting up vegetables. Are we talking about like quick little rice pack? Some chicken has already been thawed out. Here's like barbecue sauce, little can of corn. You know what I'm saying? Or
Something quick.
a sandwich, turkey sandwich. What meals are we talking? If you want Thanksgiving dinner, yeah.
Maybe not, but maybe. Is there a possibility he can get Thanksgiving dinner?
It depends on what you did to this, you know.
Okay. If he's deserving.
It depends on what my spirit said at
Gotcha.
that present
I'm
moment.
with her though. If my husband's not gonna wake me up with any foolishness, because I think he's afraid to do that. But yeah, it has to be something. And as somebody that has taken care of their husband while he was really sick, then I would say, I would say without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah.
So what made your initial reaction be a hell no?
No, it wasn't hell no. It depends on the circumstance. But
Okay.
I guess looking at immediately watching the video, because if an intruder breaks in my house, I'm not sending my husband downstairs because I don't know what the intruder has, this and the other. We're gonna call the police together.
That's it.
That part, I'm not sending my husband because he's sending me in the
man.
kitchen.
Yeah.
I'm not sending him into a possibly never seeing him again situation. But
So that was going to be the other half of the question is, do you think that's a valid comparison?
Not at all.
No.
Okay, because I didn't think that was a good
Yeah,
argument.
immediately
No.
I was like, this is
it was
dumb.
silly.
It's
It was
not.
silly.
It's not an equal. Like your life isn't in danger if I don't make you a sandwich,
Right,
right?
Exactly.
And I think also what they were really trying to get at was provision, right? You are expecting him to protect you. Are you not? He's also expecting something as well. And I think really the answer that you see these women have is a very 2023 answer, which is like, is he paying for my whole life?
Okay.
Or are we
Right.
talking about? Because
Yeah.
that's really what is underneath that, right? Like if my whole job is really to serve you and I don't do anything else and I'm a kept woman, then I'm gonna make you turkey and dressing at 2 a.m. because
Right.
that's my job.
Right.
Now I'm working just like you working, and it's 2 a.m. We both got to be up at 6.
Yeah, we gotta
then
talk
that's a
about
different
it.
Let's talk
story.
about
Let's
Yeah.
talk about it. Yeah, I definitely agree. And I also think that a lot of women make blanket statements based off of the men that they're used to dealing with.
Right.
And so obviously for women who have, life can come up at us fast. We don't know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But for people who think we have made some good choices, right? We have married men. We are not regretting our decisions on. Quickly, we can say yes, we would do it.
Right.
But when you're thinking about a man who's not deserving, who
Oh, my
goodness.
that's
Yeah.
who's in your head when you no, hell no, I definitely wouldn't do it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I believe you ain't met no real man yet if
Period.
it's just a quick hell no.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
if you done got a real one, I'm at least gonna ask a question.
That's
Right.
what it
Now,
is.
it might not
Exactly.
be Thanksgiving. I might be warming up a meal.
Okay.
Right.
That
Right.
I'm
But I'm
already
already
leftovers.
fed.
Right.
It might be
That's it.
leftovers, but I
Leftovers.
will go down. I'll make the run.
Make the plate.
Right.
I'll go get it for you.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
we're
a
gonna talk
sacrifice
about
in itself to
It's a
get up, go downstairs,
That
and warm
is a
up the food.
sacrifice.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
that's a
that's a
sacrifice.
Because I was
And
asleep.
Dare you
Yeah,
to be
because I
picky.
was asleep.
For sure,
Don't
was
be
asleep.
picky. Okay, we don't have another clip, but we do have another reaction.
Uh-oh.
So, Jeannie Mai and Jeezy, right? You sent it to me immediately, right? We're not going to talk about why you sent it to me immediately. Years ago, though, guys, if you've been following me on Instagram for a while, years ago, I told y'all that Jeezy, this was not going to last. I knew it was not going to last. I knew it wasn't going to last when Jeannie Mai publicly said that she prefers white meat.
Yes.
And then married a black man. So
Yep.
I felt like this probably is not going to last. And here we are. So supposedly, sources close, allegedly, you got to say allegedly on YouTube.
Yes,
Right.
you do.
Allegedly.
A hard allegedly.
Sources close to them are saying these are the real reasons why they're breaking up. Okay. And I want y'all reaction. First reason, apparently Jeannie Mai wants to walk their daughter to school. And Jeezy thinks that it's too dangerous people will end up knowing where they live. They disagree on that. Okay. Second reason is because her mom has been living with them since the beginning of their marriage. Third reason is that the brother lives there now too. So the brother has moved in. Reason number 4, they're always on different coasts. So I guess they're spending a lot of time apart. And then lastly, he does not like that she puts everything on social media. So based on those answers, I would love to know from y'all, do you think, and obviously everybody makes their own decisions. Obviously this is enough reason that they don't want to continue this.
For him.
But based on your experiences, do y'all think that that's reason enough to file for divorce, or can that be reconciled?
Just on the base of marriage and being married, all of those sound like things that can be worked through. But it sounds like they've been tension points, and maybe because of his absence and his frequent absence and traveling. I know he has a book and he's still, a relevant artist. Maybe her defense is, well, I need support here, and especially, we all have small children, or children have been small at one point or another. Who do you trust more than your family? So now them living in the same home, that can be very, very challenging. But I don't know. Honestly, this is the first time I heard these reasons. So I'm sitting here like, I'm not really sure if he, because it sounds like he initiated everything as far as the divorce everything is concerned. But I don't know if maybe her saying no one too many times, like this is the way we're going with it, was too much for him. Have you really given it a chance to work?
It's been what, 2 years?
2 years.
Yeah.
What do you think, Mickey? Because I know you do this.
Yes. So, I'm a firm believer that any marriage can work no matter what the circumstances are.
Okay.
But you have to want it to work, right? So what this says to me is he done with her. He don't want to work it out, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's really the key is like, are we in a bad spot, but we both are like, you know what? Let's do what we got to do to get back on the right side of this thing. And what he's basically saying is, I'm out on you. When somebody says they're out on you, let them be out on you.
Fact.
Right? Because I don't want a husband. I've tried to file for divorce twice, and my husband has come to get me every time.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And the reason we're not divorced today is because of my husband, not because of me. Right? And that I think that's really important to know, because a woman is seeking safety and security, and he's trying to protect her in the best way that he knows how. She's rejecting that. So it's only going to be so many times a man is going to say, oh, well, you don't want my protection. Here I am trying to give you what I signed up to give you, and you don't want it. So you know what? I'm going to go protect the woman that wants me to protect them.
Yeah.
So can they work these issues out? Absolutely. But both parties have to want to work on it. Now, what's interesting is that with the coaching that I do, I usually save marriages with just one party even having the knowledge that someone is getting coaching, because it's really about changing your energy first. If I change my energy as a woman, we have the most powerful energy in the world.
Period.
So if I change my energy and I start doing the things that I need to do in this marriage, that man is going to respond, period, point blank in the end.
agree.
So in my opinion, where they are is a result of two people having expectations that were not met, both of them. They both have different expectations, and that's not a conversation that's being had.
What you got down there, TK?
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. We just celebrated our 7th year anniversary a couple of days ago, and Namdi my husband, asked me. He was like, "What do you think has like kept us?" And I was the immediate response was our fight. Like, it wasn't this calculated concoction of people, counseling, like nothing. It was like, no, we were just determined to stay in this thing. Like, no matter what the disagreements look like, no matter how far, like I told you, my husband was about to walk away simply because we were on opposite spectrum of political thoughts and just our viewpoints on that. But it was a certain point that we were both like, you ain't going nowhere and neither am I. So let's figure this out. And so for 2 years to get divorced, 2 years later, that lets me know somebody was not willing to fight.
Yeah.
That lets me know somebody was not willing to say, okay. Because when I look at this, I'm like, nothing is giving enough that would destroy. So marriage to me, especially having kids, like we're building legacy, right? We're building something behind. All of these things, they don't affect that. Walking your daughter to school, like that's something we can talk about. And I agree with you. I feel like maybe Jeezy kind of tapped out. Like
It definitely.
definitely
But we know the
gets that.
statistics. It's like 80% of divorces are filed by 80 to 90% of
Women.
divorces are filed by women.
Yeah.
So when I wasn't necessarily surprised that they got a divorce, but when I saw that
He's
he
fine.
I said, "Oh, he's sick of her shit. He is
Yeah.
out of here."
the rumor was that she also got some anger issues.
Right, that she was talking bad to him.
Exactly. And I mean, she said, let me not say rumor because she
said
said
that.
it. And even when I look at this, I'm like, I don't see a reason on Jeezy's side. Like she's mad that Jeezy da 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 da. It's like you want your, and this is what I was just talking about. Even with single women, like we go into marriage like I'm gonna stay like this still, and it's like, baby,
It's not gonna work.
that don't work
It'll be
over here.
miserable.
You gotta compromise and be flexible. And so, to me, it's giving maybe she wasn't flexible. To me, it's giving this is what I want. My mama moving with me, my dad's moving with me, my brothers, everybody come on in. I'm walking my kid. No, you got a man that you got to talk to about that
I
now.
think he filed for custody too. Did I make that up?
Yeah, he
Joint
did.
custody.
Joint custody.
Had-
Okay,
yeah.
I made that
I
up.
think it's given he fourth on the list.
Yes,
That's what it's
that's
given.
big. Yeah,
And I
The-
think
the
that
baby, the mama, the brother, and then the
everybody,
husband.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's a prioritization to this. I mean, my husband comes over my whole kids.
okay.
You know, all my
Supposed
kids.
to.
All of
yeah,
them.
absolutely.
And we'll tell them
because-
that.
Oh,
In their
FTK.
face.
If y'all know, if you know, you know. FTK.
Big time.
But the point is, I think when we get into these marriages and you still have this ideal of what marriage is supposed to be and what it's going to be, and you have to take into account the person that you married. And I know that I am light years away from the person that I was 7 years ago. Thankfully, I'm better than the person I was 7 years ago. But I'm gonna give some advice my best friend gave me, who was married for 10 years, when I was like a year or two in. And I was like, I hate this. I want to get out.
Right.
And she told me, you ain't been married long enough to want to get out. You got to work your way out. Right? If you want to get out, you have to work your way out. And I think that's great advice because this is not your boyfriend. This is your whole husband, and take that seriously, right? Now, I don't believe in staying in any situations that are like abusive or anything like that, but we talking about whether or not I'm
Walk your
walking my
baby
kids to
out.
school.
That's petty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but buy your mama a house in the backyard.
Please.
Y'all can do
Yes.
it.
Down the
Mama might
street.
need to go somewhere. That codependency is.
But
It's real. It's
I will
strong.
I will say something that you said about like her just needing help. He's gone all the time. That's a good point.
She made it clear she did not want to have kids. Also, she made that very clear.
Why did she do
she
this?
did
She was-
it.
I don't
she was
know.
pregnant
Why
on her
did
wedding day.
Jeezy do this?
She was pregnant on her wedding day.
See, I see
whole
all the
thing.
benefits for Jeezy to do this.
Yeah.
Jeezy, yes, because
She said
Jeezy,
she don't like black men. She said
Jeezy is going through a whole rebrand.
Yeah, he's,
So,
he's
I mean,
benefiting off
yeah,
of
Like
the,
this
that's
definitely
mainstream.
benefits
No, that's true.
Jeezy. His whole
His image.
Yeah.
his
No, that's
whole
true.
image is cleaned
yeah,
up.
He's mainstream now.
Ah.
But I'm gonna tell you what though, the fastest way to disappointment are blind expectations. So, in order for her to be disappointed, in order for him to be disappointed so easily with her, is he probably did have certain expectations, not just of her, but what a marriage should look like, and what he thinks a wife should do.
Yeah.
And, same thing for her. And, what they shared in the beginning of their relationship, their engagement, and, these, some people call it COVID weddings and COVID couples. It's all this bliss, and, he went through great lengths to propose to her and everything. So it does make you wonder, what went wrong, but at the same time, what conversations were had as far as what does this marriage look like after the wedding?
preparing.
Well,
What do I look like? What does Jeezy look like as a husband? Because we know Jeezy he's in the trap. He's the snowman. That's what we know.
Is he still that?
But, and she's a TV host. But
Yeah.
what does she look like as a second wife? What does she look like in this marriage that was different from the last? What conversations were had and what expectations were set? And, that to me is a huge problem in not just marriages but relationships. Period.
Expectation.
Expectation.
And
Oh,
not even being able
Jesus.
to meet your own expectation because you have no
Period.
preparation.
Period.
So you can't even live up to what you think
Right.
a wife is
Right.
supposed to do.
Correct.
Okay.
Which is why y'all are here. Wife
Yes.
Up Now What? Having these conversations. So you said something, Mickey, that is a perfect segue because you said that you don't believe there's anything that can't be worked through. So my next question for y'all is around deal breakers. Do you believe there are deal breakers in marriage? If so, what is yours? And I have an example because I thought this was crazy. So word on the curb. Well, it's not word on the curb. It's true. Danny Masterson, I don't know if y'all are familiar, but he just got convicted,
Yeah,
arrested,
convicted.
of raping multiple women, right?
My God.
And now his wife has filed for divorce.
Yes.
Now, not when he got arrested, when he was on trial, like not any of those times, but now that he's gotten convicted. So that made me think: was the problem that he is going to jail for it? Because obviously the problem isn't that he just did it. So, what are deal breakers, if there are any? What do y'all think?
A lot.
Before that example, I was about to say
There are none. Yeah, I had to throw that in there.
However, what I will say is that I think when you're dealing with this level of celebrity, there might have been a deal in place where she was like, "Look, I'll support you through the trial because it looks better for you to be a married person going through this than to be a single person."
Gross.
And yeah, I mean, I don't agree with it, but I could understand like the rationale for it. And at this point, he's a convicted sex offender, and I'm sure she wants to distance herself as much as possible. So, but if we're talking about regular things, like that's not something most of us are going to come up against. Again, I think that if you want to work it out, like I think of Kirk and Rashida on this one, right? Like you have a whole baby on me, you sleeping with the girl downstairs, that kind of thing. I think, but look, this is what I'll say about it. You can make it through anything you personally want to make it through. It might not be for me,
Yes.
but if Rashida has obviously said, "I'm going to the grave with this man."
Period.
I would have
Full
said, I'm
stop.
taking you to the grave.
To the grave.
today.
Right. But to me, it's really about that. Like only you know what you can take. Just like there are things inside of every single one of these marriages that are not for public consumption that if your best friend knew, they would be like, "Girl, you dealing with that?"
Right.
But it's what
Facts.
I can
These are
take.
facts.
That's
right?
big facts.
And so I think it's really important when we're thinking about what is a deal breaker. There are going to be things, if you're planning to be married any length of time, and let's call it 10 years plus, you're going to come up against some deal breakers. Know that.
Yeah.
Know that going in, that you are not going to make it 25, 30, 45 years, and there has never been what you would consider to be a deal breaker at the beginning of your marriage, right?
Yeah.
And I think if you go into it thinking there's something that I would divorce you for, you will get divorced.
Right.
Because you have an out. You have if this happens, I'm gone. That's not unconditional. Didn't you vow unconditional love through all the things?
Girl, I had a little asterisk next to mine. It did not say all the things. It said most because abuse is on my.
Yes.
So abuse
Yeah,
is definitely a
sure.
deal breaker
For
for
sure.
me. Habitual cheating is a deal breaker for me. And any type of addiction.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I agree with
Really?
Those would be.
And those are biblical
Yeah.
too. Like a lot of
Really?
those.
I think so. I think now the last one I'm gonna put a little slash next to. I don't think it would be a deal
Drinking
breaker
problem.
on the first, like your first, you didn't messed up the first time, but
Yeah.
but an addiction is like you can't stop this thing. Like it's turned into an addiction. You can have some bad habits, and
Yeah.
I'll work with you. We
Yeah.
can do whatever we need to do
But
to
you
work.
don't like.
But an addiction, like you're gambling our money away.
Oh, yeah.
I can't, because by that time you need some real help.
Yeah.
But aren't you supposed to be the person that
I am
helps
supposed to be
them?
real. Yeah, I am.
But she's not the
But I
person
gotta
that
know
you
my
think is him.
limits.
That's the
Yes.
difference.
No one said you gonna fix
Yeah,
them, but
yeah.
I think also too we take things personally. It's not
Okay.
about you. His addiction or whatever he's going through, him even cheating, is not about you. It's about him. And whatever is the hole on the inside of him that he's trying to fill with whatever, or any of us, right? We're all the reason you get married is because what? Most people want to have someone to grow old with. What does that mean? I'm not okay by myself. So ultimately, I think you have to see it for what it is. Like this problem has nothing to do with you. It's happening inside of your personal reality.
Oh, so let me ask you this then, because we all agree that your husband is above your children.
Absolutely.
If this addiction starts affecting your child or your children, is that then a deal breaker?
I come from 2 addict parents. So
Okay, so you have a specialized. I appreciate your perspective.
I have 2 addict parents. I have addicts all throughout my family. So I mean, I can't sit here and say that because I've seen people. My dad kicked a heroin addiction cold turkey. So I can't sit here and say that if
It can't be done.
Yeah, no, that it can't be done. And I've watched many people be in recovery for a multitude of things, right? So I can't sit here and say that if my husband had because what people don't understand about addiction is that it is a disease. And so would you leave if he had cardiac problems, if he had, diabetes?
Well, I think it's
would
a
you leave if
disease,
he...
but I don't think you're necessary. So I think that the right comparison would be if he had cardiac disease and he was smoking a pack of cigarettes every day, because then you're making a choice to further.
No,
this.
but you're not making. That's the.
Is that a misconception with addiction that it's not a choice?
Well, you can't call it a disease and then say you're making a choice. It's either a disease, which means it's your brain chemistry, like you have a propensity for something that, yes, there's an action that goes to it. I mean, you ain't gotta.
I'm computing.
But if you're going to agree that it's a disease, then you have to treat it like the disease that it is. And just because it doesn't fall in line with, like having a heart problem or having, a blood issue or something like that, it is still something that you are fighting internally on the inside of you that clinically is a disease.
So what if your husband was fighting sexual demons, where he had some desire that was against your beliefs?
I think the reason people cannot stand by folks when they are dealing with something are for things because it embarrasses you. Because it makes it mean something about you. It's all about you. What are you going to love this person for what they're going through and support them for what they're going through? Now, I can support you and I can love you and I can still not agree, right? But that doesn't mean I remove my love from you. So this is the conversation, right? When you're talking about I'm marrying you for life, life is going to happen. Life is not going to stop happening because you married me. So when things come up, I have already made my decision. I'm with you. I'm with you. So if I'm with you, I'm gonna be with you. If not just because it hurts my feelings, I'm not gonna be with you. And that's really the problem. Most people are unable to remove their personal feelings about the subject. It's not about you.
What you think, TK? Because you said I don't think you would leave for abuse. I mean, not abuse, addiction either.
Oh no. Well, am I staying for addiction?
Yeah, is that a deal breaker for you?
Addiction, and so is cheating.
Okay.
So cheating is a deal breaker for me, for sure. And it also is for my husband. The first conversation that we had surrounding cheating before we got married was like, as soon as you step out, you might as well stay out. The way that I have seen women treat their husbands after they've cheated, I'm cool on that.
Facts.
I'm cool on the insecurities that she deals with. I'm cool on he went to Walmart and you blowing his phone up thinking that he's with another woman. I'm cool with the diseases that can be brought back. I'm cool on the side chicks that get pregnant. I'm cool on the side chicks that pull up. I'm cool. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to addictions, I do agree it's a disease. But I also agree with what you said about being someone's savior. And one thing that I've learned, even in friendships, sometimes the best thing you can do is walk away. Sometimes that is the best thing you can do. And that doesn't mean that you're removing love. That says, I know that if I am in here with you, I'm getting worse. I'm getting worse as a woman. I'm getting worse as a mother. I'm getting worse as a friend. You bringing diseases back home to me? Because if we're talking about sexual diseases, addictions, we cannot avoid talking about diseases that you can bring back to me. We can't talk about AIDS that can come back. We can't talk about chlamydia that can come back. We can't talk about these things. Okay, what if I have AIDS, you get me pregnant. Now we're bringing children in. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't stop these things. So a lot of the things that, yes, I can love you through, but I cannot stop consequences. I can't avoid what your actions do to your children, to our lineage, to our heritage, to this marriage. Now we broken, nobody trusts nobody, family falling apart. And I could have just walked away and let you get your help. And I don't think that's pulling love away, but that's me though.
No, that's what that's what this conversation is hopefully y'all out there identify with somebody up here. We're not all gonna have the same perspective. We got 4 different marriages.
Exactly.
Right.
So you have worked through lots with your husband in terms of who you had to become
Right.
to be the wife that he needed. So I would love to hear your perspective on whether you have a deal breaker.
My number one deal, well, I have 2 deal breakers: infidelity and abuse off the top. But
Definitely abuse.
I will say, because I've not witnessed abuse, but that's just, to me, that's almost like a no-brainer. But I've seen in my parents' marriage what, stepping out and all of that other stuff can do to the marriage. But those are my just plain deal breakers. But I believe everything else can be worked out. But I will say this in response to what you ladies were saying. I think not only do you have deal breakers, but I think people have thresholds where even if you say such and so isn't a specific deal breaker for me, after too much of something, it becomes that deal breaker. You get what I'm saying? Things you don't even fathom being problematic in your marriage now, or, oh yeah, it's not. But when they become habitual from your spouse, that's when they start to enter the deal breaker category. And though I do believe that you should be in it for the long haul and, be committed to helping, it's important to realize that self-care is also stepping away too, if need be. Even if it's, we jump right into divorce, but there is a little thing called separation.
That part.
And sometimes separation is all you need before you get to divorce, and you U-turn your way back to staying happily
Can you
married.
define it for the people? Tell us, what is this? What's separation before the divorce? Is there a certain time?
I don't
period,
think it's,
or-
and that's the thing. You can't put measurements, you can't put definitions on a lot of this stuff because every relationship is, some people separate and just move in different bedrooms.
But
Some
do you
people
have to,
separate.
you have
that's
to
true.
separate though legally, right? Or no?
Not in
Depends on
Georgia,
the
yes.
state.
Not
It
depends
depends on
on
the
yeah.
state.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
True.
what I would say about
Who's been married long?
Right, I'm like, girl, I don't know none of this. I ain't looked up, baby. I ain't looked up no divorce laws. I don't even know how you get out this thing because I'm in
This is
it.
what you do in Georgia.
so I want to just like piggyback on what you said. So that's why I think you can make it through most things, because I don't think you go from I'm getting married to divorce. There are people who live in separate residences. There are people who are still married. I actually have a client who's been married for 25 years. For 11 of those years, they have been living in separate residences and just moved back into their own home. And they have been married the whole time. So my whole point is that you can design a marriage that works for you. You do not need to put your marriage first over the people who are in the marriage. So if you have a deal breaker that, whatever these things are too much for you, yes, you should take care of yourself for sure. Don't put anyone over your own well-being. But what the question was, are you sticking? Are you
Right.
going
Are you
to
there?
are you going
Right.
to be next to this person as they are going through whatever valley? Because we know life is going to give that. And so my answer is yes to that.
Mickey says she is right.
Ding.
But I was saying the guy was charged for what?
Not for that.
Oh,
not for that one.
not for
Okay.
that one. She said not for that one. She said
no,
like,
I think that's
she
an
went back and
extreme.
said, wait a
Wait a
minute.
minute, you agree?
No, that was the first thing I said. And don't nobody use no clip talk about.
No.
I will stay with the
See what I'm
man.
saying?
No.
With the
No.
exception of this.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
Yeah.
an extreme.
That is an
case.
extreme.
Touching all of that is a no.
Yeah.
What?
Of course.
No.
I mean, I've heard some stories, and it's like, at what point do you? I mean, how long you gonna ride?
Right.
But again, you're
And
talking
you gonna wait
about-
and see if he convicted? You
No,
know,
that's
that-
terrible.
Oh,
I think
on
that
that
could have been
case.
PR. That
But
could have been PR
well,
stuff.
you're
Well,
also saying this is extreme, but it's not. There are
No, I know
there
real people
are
in real life.
there are
that-
women who are with men and their daughters told the
That
mom,
part.
"Your man is da
Something's
da
going
da."
on. Yeah.
There are women that stay through that. There are women
That's
that
the
will
thing.
put a
That's
blindfold
not
on
me.
them.
So let's just put a blanket deal breaker. I'm not. You can't mess with no kids. You can't harm any person.
What?
You can't murder nobody.
Yes.
All of those
Offenders.
types of things. But if we're talking about the 12 things that are most likely,
Girl, it's 12 things. Did you know that?
I did
Did
know
I tell you
that.
that? So let's talk about the 12. Here
Come
they are. I
on,
have the
she
list.
literally went into it.
I have it here. Right. Segue. Like she got the cards. Okay.
I know how to go.
So 12 reasons based on research. Okay. And I would love y'all's thoughts on these. Tell me, is this a strong enough reason or not. So the first reason, and I don't know if these are in order, but constant arguing or conflicts.
Oh my gosh. What?
You're just gonna get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gonna get some
Grow up.
tools.
Infidelity.
Most marriages
Yeah.
make it through infidelity.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yes, yes.
Is the question, can you make it
Wait,
through?
yeah.
What is
Is this a strong enough reason to get a divorce? In your
Oh,
opinion?
okay.
So infidelity. Y'all already said yes.
Definitely.
I'm gonna say no.
Mickey said no. I'm gonna say halfway. My answer is if it's habitual.
Ooh.
I just really think I'm super logical. And I just think that I would be just a damn fool to believe that to feel, not even to believe, to feel that if my husband had sex with someone else over the span of our lifetime, I'm gonna leave my marriage. I just don't think that that's a realistic.
But then define habitual. If I step out every 5 years,
Yeah.
Yeah, nigga. Yeah.
that's
What?
habitual.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Because
you
I
been
want
with-
if we did not agree on this
Yes.
prior to, and you go have sex with someone, I want it to be a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
That means you're not gonna do it again. That means we talked about it. You done made me feel like, damn, it just was, well, yada yada. Oops. And then I'm sorry, I never did it again. But if you got a 5-year itch, that's a conversation we need to have.
5-year itch.
I'm just saying, can we talk about it? What is this thing? Do I need to wear a wig every 5 years? Like, what
Because
needs
we
to
will.
happen? Because I'll do it.
And I feel like there's so many options to do that. Like polygamy. Like do you like go have fun? There are plenty of women that will have threesomes, that will bring a woman in every other month. But you knew when you got with me that
That you
this
wasn't
was
gonna do that.
you and
Wasn't for
me.
this.
Again, one time is different. But
That's
and then I
tough.
also feel like sometimes it's something that my husband actually said. He was like, he cheated on one of his exes like habitually. And he said, each time she took me back and her value lowered in my head because I know she's gonna let me do it again. It wasn't like, I need you to get together. She'll fight, bust the glasses, bust
And
the
come on
tire.
back.
She's gonna come back. I know you're going to accept this. I know you're going to keep taking me back. I know you're going to let me play on you. And again,
And that's a character flaw in him.
and yes. And again, the scary part is, what can you bring back to me that could actually kill me? What can you bring back to me that can actually bring harm to me?
Okay, Mickey. You can spill the beans.
I'm not spilling those beans. So you keep
can-
trying to. That's not
You
the bean
was
I'm
doing
spilling.
like this.
No,
Like the
because-
beans was coming
no,
out.
This is the beans that I was gonna say. Your sexual health, regardless of if you are married, is your responsibility. Period. You
Ooh,
don't
explain
know
that. Tell us
because
how
there
that
are
works.
options. There are options for you to not get HIV. You don't know. Most marriages are non-monogamous. Period. Most marriages are not monogamous. They purport to be monogamous.
That means most people
but
are not being
someone-
faithful in their
Correct.
marriages.
Correct. So the chances of you being a married woman and still coming up with an STD are actually the same as being a single woman.
But do you think that's different than being single and dating and knowing you're doing that and being married and thinking you're with a faithful
But
man?
I cannot offload my health to my partner is my point. So it's still my responsibility to care for my body. And however I choose to do that is how I choose to do that. So I'm all for personal responsibility in all of this. So when you say, your husband previously had cheated on this woman multiple times, I'm gonna put that on where it should be, on him.
For sure.
And then the woman who's deciding to take him back for whatever reason, maybe because she thought it was gonna be her husband and things were going to change. Like
Yeah.
there's so many different reasons. But at the end of the day, she has to decide that she wants to protect herself.
For sure.
Right? I have a friend who her parents were married for 15 years, and the reason her mother found out that he was cheating was because she went for her OBGYN appointment.
I already know where
right?
you were going with this. That's why I was like,
So to me, it's a question of, are you going to do what it takes to protect yourself, regardless of what you know about or not?
But is there not an agreement, an actual covenant
Yeah,
that we have
that's a good
came
question.
into to protect each other? Basically, that this is what we've agreed on. Now, again, that's why I made the statement of, if we had an agreement, that's a totally different conversation because we've agreed on this. That's the thing. But the unspoken rule, if we have not had a conversation, is that I'm only going to be having sex with you and you're
Right.
only going to be having sex with me. So I don't expect that I need to go take a test, that I need to do any preventative measures, that I need to do anything, because I'm never having sex with anybody else in my whole life.
But
That's
you
my
can't pick and
expectation.
choose which statistics you're gonna look at, right? So
What
we
do you
started
mean?
because we started this conversation with 50% of marriages don't last. Well, I believe it's something like 60% of marriages experience infidelity.
Well, I'm not.
So I mean, it's to me,
but it's still the unspoken expectation that we're not going to be
and that
having sex with
expectation
other
is
people.
being broken.
Is it true?
At least 60%.
It's just
Yeah.
what my
But
assumption.
should we marry? I mean, that's like getting in your car and keeping the statistics of accidents on 285 in your head. You're not getting in your car. If that's the case, we wouldn't drive anywhere. You know, if we
But you have insurance.
No, but it's not even that. But I don't have insurance on this man. So what I'm trying to say is, why are we putting ourselves in situations where we're thinking that at the same time, like you said, we're in a covenant marriage, but at the same time, we're like, well, it's a 60% chance you're going to sleep
You
with
out here
somebody
sleeping
else.
with somebody, so
I
need to
don't
be
have
careful.
time for 60, 70, 80, or 90. This is what you and I spoke about. And this is, I feel like we should be outside of, we're supposed to be aiming towards the 40%.
Absolutely.
So before, I'm not going to move in my marriage as if we're automatically counted in the 60%. I want to move.
expecting the 40.
I'm expecting the 40. It could have been 5. If this is the route we're choosing to have a faithful marriage, this is what I want to focus on. And to your point, I don't want to be in a situation where I'm having to constantly think about my vaginal health because of
Single
what.
mom, I don't want to worry about that shit.
Right. I'm not getting married to do that. I could be in these streets if I want to do that, if that's the life I want to live. And if at any point I feel like that is now a concern, then we also need, this marriage is a concern
For
now.
sure.
You see what I'm saying? I get what you're saying though, statistically and everything.
We live in Atlanta.
No, we do live in Atlanta. And we also, and you know, Nicole is willing to go to jail at any given moment. So I just want to make sure, I don't care if we were in Alaska, you know, same rules apply.
No, I was actually talking about the HIV rate. So
yeah.
my thing is, even for that one time that you're talking about, you're at risk.
You're at risk.
For
Absolutely.
sure.
And so I can't sit here and, not say that there are options out there for women to protect themselves and for people to protect themselves, because this is one of the reasons Black women are the most new cases. Not single Black women, Black women.
Yeah.
So whether you are Black and married, Black and single, Black and polyamorous, Black and whatever you identify as a Black woman, you are part
At
of
risk.
the statistic that says you are at risk for potentially getting HIV, and that is your responsibility. That's all I'm saying.
Right. No, I get it.
Marrying too young. What do you think, TK? Because you got married pretty young.
What's the question again?
Do you think that's a strong reason for divorce? Do you see why that could impact divorce?
Absolutely. For
Yes.
sure. I definitely can. Especially because I got with my husband when I was 21. And your brain doesn't fully develop until 25. And as much as women change, I mean, I've been 3 different women so far. And the scary thing is, for some women, as they were changing, so was their type. So if you're married to one man and then 5 years later, you're like, I actually, you got a dark skinned man, you're like, I actually like light skinned dudes. You got a short dude, I actually like tall dudes. You got a skinny dude, you're like, I actually like buff men. You begin to develop the type of partner you want as you get older. And so I can see that being an issue for sure. Thank God that anything that has changed with me has just changed with me. My husband also is 8 years older. So maturity, financial stability, all of that was there. There was nothing for me to want anymore. But yeah, I can see that being a problem for sure.
What about unrealistic expectations? I think you said that's one of like the biggest challenges. Do y'all think y'all had unrealistic expectations?
Definitely.
I did not. I was 32 when I got married, and I went into it eyes wide open. The night before we got married, we actually had every expectation on the table. Like, we literally talked about absolutely everything, and we kind of planned for these expectations. And honestly, most of these expectations that we thought the night before our wedding were not even the things that
reality.
were important. No, not even the
Yeah.
things that were important, like once we got into the marriage.
Inequality between partners.
In what aspect?
I don't
Just
know,
in
research
general.
said it was inequality.
I think this is a big one. I see this a
Okay,
lot.
so interpret that. What does that mean to you?
I see this as kind of like what TK was saying earlier. Like, I'm doing everything. The whole load is on me. Kind of the strong
yeah.
black woman syndrome, where I'm bringing home the bacon and fried it up and
Yeah.
taking care of the kids, and
And
I'm
throwing
just
it back.
tired.
Yeah.
And I'm just tired. And a lot of the women that come to me from that perspective, right? That I don't know how to. This is not what I signed up for, and I'm in this thing that I don't want to be in. This
Right.
was not my vision of marriage.
Right.
And so, yes, I think people do. That's a huge reason. I know it's a huge reason.
Okay, I'm gonna run through the next ones because I have one question that we got to get to. Inadequate preparation for marriage, which is why it's good that y'all are here, tuned in to Wifed Up. Now what? Domestic violence for sure.
Yep.
Financial problems. That's the one we
Yep.
always hear about. Conflict about domestic work. I think that's similar to inequality. Lack of family support.
Oof.
Religious differences, and then sexual incompatibility. So, of those 12, have y'all ever experienced any? Have y'all ever mentioned the D word? I think y'all already said yeah. You
Yes,
said, okay.
I have.
Anybody else want to share?
I don't think you go past, if you're past 5 years at least,
Okay.
you haven't thought about it.
Okay.
Like, even if no matter how far you go into the actual journey, you've at least
Thought about it.
Thought about it.
thought
Yeah.
about it, and that's the bottom line. You're it's ever changing, and kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier, TK. You're the person you are when you got married is not the person you are now. I've been with my husband. I started dating my husband when I was 19. I'm 41.
wow.
Y'all have lived a lifetime together.
So we have, and we've also have dated multiple people within our marriage because of who we've changed, who we've evolved into over the years. That's not the same guy that I met when I was 19. I'm not the same 19-year-old he met. So, it's so many different factors that have changed us. We have been through sickness and in health, like the real deal. And children, we have 3 boys together, and all of these things change you. But that's pretty much. I forgot the initial part of the question, but
have you dealt with any of these challenges, and have y'all ever considered?
the D
divorce?
word. So yeah, you go through all those things, and to think that you're gonna come out, skipping through sunflower fields hand in hand and singing songs together. I'm gonna
not
tell you now.
reality.
No, it's not even that. I'm gonna tell you as a new wife, I'm gonna tell you something. Whatever you do, take the expectations off the table. Don't listen. You can listen to all of us and, take bits in, take a little bit of her conversation, a little bit of her conversation, a little bit of mine. But you're going to have to create your own recipe.
Period.
And guess what? You're going to have to recreate a new recipe in 5 years when the boys go to school.
Yeah.
Because things have changed. And, when the schedules get hectic and, things, he might want to explore a new business 5 years down the road that is not even in conversation now. But it's going to be so much change.
Yes, that's good.
And you have to accept that there will be change.
Yep.
There's going to be no conversation. You are amazing at this podcast thing, but there are going to be no interviews that will save you.
That will prepare me for that.
That
huh?
will prepare you for that. All these conversations, we're all going to invest in that and invest in the wonderful women watching. But at the end of the day, you do have to create your own recipe, because that's the only way that you're going to be able to make this thing work. So
I think sometimes we look at contemplating divorce as a bad thing. For me, in my marriage, both times where I got to that point, my marriage got better after, right? And I think this last time, which was a couple years ago at this point, taught me so much about myself, because I learned that I was just not emotionally regulated. Like, I was not at a place, like, I was in my fight or flight so much that I could not, all I could think was, I gotta get out, I gotta get out, I gotta get out. Because that's my default. As when I was single,
Right.
if I felt like that, then I'd just be like, deuces, I'm out, right?
Yeah.
But in a marriage, you know that you have to have more of a threshold, and you're like, I gotta, figure this out. But I went taught myself like how to be emotionally regulated, because I realized that it wasn't that I wanted to be out of my marriage. I just didn't. I was at my emotional height.
Right.
And so when your fight or flight is activated like that, and you're just thinking to yourself like, how can I get relief?
Yeah.
You're just thinking,
I'm out.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I just need to get out. So for me, it was a very necessary piece of my marriage for me to have a whole different marriage from what I have today, because I changed, because I started really getting into, well, why am I feeling this way? Why am I getting to a place where I'm this angry, right? Where I cannot calm down in a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
And and it was, and my husband's very calm. You've met my husband. Like, he's a very mild-mannered person. I'm the rah-rah. So I had to really get into myself and figure out, like, okay, when I'm feeling like this, and so much so to the point now, I'm able to say to him, okay, I'm at that level. Like, when you start hearing me talking about I want to sleep in a different room and I need a staycation somewhere, you know I'm activated, right?
I'm at the point.
Right.
So that means come and get me, don't walk away.
Right.
It means literally come and get me, because I'm fearful.
Right.
What you got, TK? Y'all done talked about it? Or y'all
Oh
said-
yeah, for sure. We've actually dealt with everything except for religious differences and infidelity on this list. So 10 out of the 12 for sure. Especially in the beginning of our marriage, I wasn't more so the runner. I mean, I'm not saying you're a runner.
I was, girl. It's okay.
My husband actually was, but for right reasons. Like, I was a terrible wife. Like, I was young, alpha woman, emasculating him, talking bad, thought I knew it all. So we had all of the reasons. But one thing that you were saying that, and I'm going to keep saying this, like the fight has kept us.
Yeah.
The fight, and not even. Sometimes it has just been one. Sometimes it's just been one person willing to step up. Okay, if you're going to be immature in this season, I got to be mature.
Right.
Okay, you're going to be a child, I got to be an adult. Okay, you're going to be selfish, I got to be selfless. Oh, you want to talk bad to me? I got to give grace. Oh, you want to be angry? I'm going to create peace. And there's been seasons, I know I've been making it seem like my husband is phenomenal, but he definitely had his ways as well. In times, and I think there's so much, I'm going to always say this, power in just a woman knowing her own power, the gift to be able to shift. One thing that I love about being a nurturer is that it literally means to suggest and bring about development. So we do that with our children by, hey, look at this ABC, but you do that with your man too. And a lot of times, first, that's changing you. Like, first and foremost, I got to grow up emotionally. Secondly, I got to know how to walk in grace. I know how to speak in grace. I need to know how to be an adult and have difficult conversations. Even when I strongly disagree with this, I'm not leaving.
Yeah.
So what gotta fall? And in my case, it was political for us. So political views that I had to just literally lay down. And I know women hate hearing that. Like, no, there were things that I literally had to be like, that can't exist here. That gotta die.
That's a real hot wife shit right here. Okay, last question before I ask y'all to give some advice for new wives like me. What do you do when you want to kill that nigga? I wrote it on my paper. I typed it.
She literally did.
So I would not forget. Because to your point, that mouth. What do we usually do when we want to kill a nigga? We're going to tell you, and that is not going to sustain a marriage.
Yeah.
So truly, I said it in a funny way, but when you are at your wit's end, when you can't afford, don't have time for a staycation, can't go to the spa, in that moment, because that is usually the moment where you start throwing out the D word. It's like, I got to fight or flight. I want to fight. What's your advice? What do you do? Personally,
well, first of all, I have to do a self-check because, and I'm not saying like automatically assuming guilt to whatever's going on, whatever the argument is, but a lot of times I will say to myself, what I'm getting ready to say out my mouth, would I say it if I wasn't angry? And I have to also ask myself, will I be mad at whatever this is that's going on between us right now tomorrow or in an hour from now? And of course, some things are like, nah, this is it right here. He's pissed me off, you know. But, you know, because none of it is worth my peace at this stage where I am in my marriage and having 3 boys that are rah-rah, off the walls, bouncing, screaming and hollering all the time. If it's unnecessary, even if we are arguing, sometimes you have to just say, you got it. or walk away or step away. And sometimes I'll just say, you know what, I'm going to Publix. And I sit in the Publix parking lot.
Mine is Target.
Listen,
but
For
yes.
sure, Target.
Whatever's the
For
closest
sure,
retail
Target.
store. And I might go in there and just get a pack of gum and just sit in the car and listen to my favorite song or listen to an episode of a podcast. And I come back a totally different person. And even if the attitude is still there in the home, I've changed. So I can navigate it way better than I could 5 minutes ago, an hour ago, to where we were at each other's throats. So, but that took change. That wasn't always Nicole, because Nicole I could get down with you with the best.
But you
of
gonna
them.
go to the Publix parking lot now?
But I just go to
Okay,
Publix.
gotcha.
I just want to say that's such a big thing. That's a huge bar, especially for women, because when we in those emotions,
Oh my God.
don't add a cycle, don't add kids.
That's
and
why I said a self-check.
all of the hormones that we go through. Like, there have literally been times that I have completely spazzed, and I'm talking like an hour later, I'm like, oh my God,
Right.
that was
And it could have been because you
completely
just
dumb.
saw somebody text you something stupid or
anything.
somebody
An
pissed you
outside
off at work.
influence.
Yes.
And you realizing that whatever it is that he just said to you is not even that serious. It's just that you're already pissed off about something else, or the kids are screaming in the background, or this, that, and the other. And you have to, like I said, you have to do a self-check to see, is it worth really taking this there
Yeah.
or not?
That's so big.
What do you do, Mickey? Because you're so mindset. You're
Right.
So I do a combination of, I'm gonna give you the practical, and then I'm gonna give you like what I do as well. I think the practical thing for most people who don't have tools is to take a moment away. Right. And whatever that is, if that's going for a walk, if that's, going to your basement, if that's going anywhere where you can just calm down. I, at this point, am so fortunate that we have tools that we're able to use. So if I'm ever at a level 10, I can actually go to him and say, hey, babe, I'm at a level 10. Can you listen to this vent that I have and know that it's not about you? Right? It's really about how I'm feeling, and I take responsibility for how I'm feeling, because we often in relationships want to say, well, you're making me feel like, no, the person is not making you feel anything. You are making yourself feel a way. That doesn't mean something didn't happen,
Right.
but whatever happened is tripping over something that is a trauma for you or something in a past experience or a past relationship. And now it's showing up here, and now I'm afraid.
Right.
So at this point, I'm having a conversation with my husband about, I'm feeling afraid, and this concerns me for this reason, and this is what I need from you in order to feel better. Is that something you can support? And that doesn't mean I'm able to have those words in that moment, but we're setting a container of safety so that whatever is about to come out of my mouth, you're prepared. I just told you I'm up here.
Right.
Right? So he's already like braced for that conversation, and we're able to use our tools to get back on track. So we don't even argue anymore, because we realize that whatever is upsetting me is upsetting me. And whatever is upsetting him is literally the emotion he's producing on the inside of his body as a result of what the catalyst was. Because I always teach people there's only internal and external environment. So your internal environment is the only place you ever really live. Everything else, including your husband, your kids, are external environment. So if I'm going to go through life allowing everything in my external environment to affect my internal environment, I'm shit out of luck, right? But it's really about learning to steady your internal environment first. And once I am grounded and centered in myself, then we are the great transmuters of energy.
Yes.
As TK was saying, feminine energy transmutes energy. So I can come into this space now, having done my own work, and now you are going to come to me differently and in exactly how I want you to.
Okay.
Right.
That part.
Yeah.
Right.
TK, how'd you change your life?
How did I change my life?
Yeah, when you want to kill this nigga now, you ain't cursing him out. So
Yeah.
you did something.
So we actually have this thing that we call safety circle. And within this circle, you actually can't rebuttal anything.
Yep.
So whether that is, I'm actually complaining about you in this moment, or it is a vent and my kids annoyed me, my mama got on my nerves, whatever it is, within this circle, I am safe to be angry. I am safe to be upset. I'm safe to be offended, or all of those things. And so I'm literally probably just going to piggyback off of what you were saying, just creating a safe place. And I feel like we're saying these things so lightly, like, yeah, you just got to learn to walk away and go to Target, and you just got to create a... No, this
In
It's
that
for real.
moment, baby.
It's for real.
in the moment when he actually did offend you.
Right.
He actually did piss you off.
Right.
He actually did hurt your feelings and
Right.
break your heart. It is hard to control that because yes, even though we have a safety circle, I'm still mindful in that circle.
Right.
Like I'm not going to destroy you with these words. I'm not going to rip your manhood apart. And that still it takes work. And so it sounds good. I think these suggestions are great, but at the bottom of all of this is self-worth. At the bottom of all of this is actually like fighting to be the best human, the best man, the best woman that you can be. Outside of that, baby, you're going to destroy each other.
And I feel like you know if you need to work on some things. Because if you be getting into it with your friends,
Right.
the people down at the job, like you know if you got some
Yeah.
stuff that you
No,
need to
they
work on
don't,
because
girl.
marriage is a mirror. Well, listen, if you didn't know, let me tell y'all, marriage is going to mirror you. So anything that you are dealing with single is going to be magnified inside of your marriage. So
Definitely.
get your ish together. Okay, let's play a quick game.
Okay.
Y'all ready? Pass these down. I sat on it, so it's a little.
That's not, a little warm.
It's a little warm. Okay, so this game, as y'all know, is called Have Fun or Run. So I'm going to read a scenario. This is for my single ladies, my ladies who are wives in waiting. They desire marriage. So they're dating. They're out here. They're on the scene. They outside and they want to know, should I stick around for this man or should I get the hell on? Okay. So she's dating a man. He has kids, but he doesn't think that she should meet their mother until they've dated for a year. Okay.
Okay. That's responsible.
Period.
Yeah. No,
would think-
so we're in
I would
agreement.
think-
please
Okay.
do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Have every chick meeting these kids. No.
Okay. He doesn't believe in religion, but considers himself to be spiritual.
It depends.
TK said run. TK, why you gotta run?
I mean, because I feel like that depends. That's so.
On your own beliefs, right?
Yes.
Right.
Like if our beliefs are super far, like you're. Okay, let me not even do that. But if they're so far, that could be a big problem.
Agreed.
We're talking about Christmas comes. I'm headed to Walmart to get a Christmas tree, and you're like,
That can't come in his house.
no,
Yeah.
we're not doing that.
It's different.
Yeah.
But it depends on your beliefs.
For sure.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of fake Christians and fake Muslims. and
Absolutely.
fake-
Yeah, yeah.
They know the whole Bible, but
Ain't
still.
doing nothing. Okay. He thinks weddings are a waste of money. That was easy. Lastly, he's a mama's boy.
Oof.
Damn. All right, fellas. Well, all right. Run away from your mom. Okay. Last segment is Wifey Keeps It Spicy. So on this segment, y'all are going to share. This is for the new wives like me who have a lot of living to do. And I'm trying to keep it habanero over here.
Okay.
So from each of you, TK, I'll let you go first because you were actually prepared. You were prepared for this.
Okay.
You got something.
I do?
I,
Is she?
I think you do. Let me look at my notes.
I thought it was just them, but I can
No,
throw it out.
you don't, but
I'm
I'm
ready.
sure you got something.
Let's
said
do
I'm
it.
ready.
Let's do it.
Okay, so your tip on how you keep it spicy.
Okay.
'Cause wife, you got to keep it spicy.
Okay, so mine is probably going to be like kind of whack. But one of the things that have really helped me is vitamins, supplements. So a lot of times women are complaining that their husband, want to toot it up all the time. They're tired. They're like, again, why are we doing this again? I don't want to do it again. Didn't I just give you some head last week? Like, what are we doing? And a
Last
lot of
week.
times, it's not even something that we can control. Hormonally, we need help. And there are supplements, natural things that you can take. Like, and I don't want to suggest all of them because I feel like you need to read the stuff yourself, but do some research. If you are having a problem with feeling turned on, with actually getting horny, with actually desiring intimacy with your husband, most of the time, it's not a matter of you don't want him or you don't like him. Emotionally, hormonally, you could be off. And so one of the things that have helped me to stay, my husband is well pleased, okay? Morning, night, day, lunch break, he get off work, it's again. And that's these supplements. They have helped me. They kept me on my
on,
hot
commercial?
seat.
That's whack as
Little hot
hell.
booty.
That's a good one.
We gonna drop a link.
Well, because I know some
below.
people don't really believe in supplements, but once I got into them, I'm like it was one point I was taking Macaru and I was like, oh, I got to get off. I was itching for it. Like legit itching. So if y'all
She was out here
Let's
fiending.
get
She
the
was out here
list.
fiending. She was
Right.
out
Addiction,
here.
the addiction.
and y'all,
Come on,
I'm
Liz.
talking about from You need help with your lubrication. You need help with just desiring him. And there are things, even if you think you getting it in enough, there are things that can take you to another level. So your climax can be even better. You can experience better orgasms. Can I say that?
Yes.
Okay. You can experience better orgasms. You can experience more intense orgasms. You can experience multiple orgasms. There are things that if you think you got it and it's good, look, hit me up. I got you.
We're gonna put the list
I'm
out.
about to say, obviously.
I know.
What you got, Mickey? How you keeping it spicy?
My best tip for all wives is be so serious about your pleasure, because if you are having fun, you are going to want to do this, right? So find what your sex is. It's not always about penetration. So one of the things that I've gotten into since I've been married that I would have never thought that I would be into are some kink things that I've found that I'm like, I really like rope play, right? That's really
Rope or roll?
Oh, my God.
Okay, that's
Sign me up.
There is a
Sign me up.
difference. There is a
Okay,
difference.
okay.
I really like that. And, I would not have thought about that when I was single. But, in a long-term relationship, sex is very, very different. So I think finding sex that pleases you is really important. It's not just always about oral. It's not just always about penetrative sex.
That's so good.
My husband and I slow dance together. We do co-regulation together where we're literally breathing together in the dark with candles and it's very intimate. So finding what turns you on and what makes you excited to have this experience. Like for me, I'm very sensory. So I want candles. I want to smell something. I want to taste something.
Okay.
I want to feel something.
It's the taste for me.
She said, but it's all of those things. I mean, exploring other, BDSM, exploring some different things, and just
Wifey
being.
is keeping it spicy.
I love it. Hi. I'm ready to dive deeper. Let's talk about it.
Part 2.
Invite me back for that show. Girl.
Okay.
Invite me back
That's
for
his
that show.
own episode.
Yeah, but I think if you are having fun and you are trying to surprise yourself with what you find, invite him into your experience too. I think sometimes we as wives always center the male's pleasure, right? And we're really concerned about making sure he's well pleased, and all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, make sure that you're well pleased and make sure that you're having a good time and whatever that is for you.
I love it.
Can I say something to
Yes.
that? I just want to say, I think another reason is that women aren't having orgasms.
Yes.
So it's just pump, get it done. And so I think that is I just want to say I'm backing up her point. That's such a good point to actually make sure you enjoy it. Because if you're not having orgasm, you're like, you know how many wives I talked to? I talked to a woman that was married for 7 years, 10 years. They're like, I've had maybe 2.
I have something for that.
Give it to us. They want it.
So get yours first. That's
Absolutely.
So even
You
if,
need to tell the men that.
No, but I'm telling the women to make sure you get yours
Yeah,
first,
I agree.
not last. Because a lot of times we want to please them, and then it's like, okay, now
Girl, he
he's
got
tired,
nothing
he
left
ready to
for
roll
you,
up.
girl.
Okay,
Oh,
Yeah,
nothing at all.
Don't play
but
yourself.
this is what I mean by get yours first. So if you like toys or however you know how, ladies, we can do it in 2 minutes flat, right?
For
So if you know how to self-pleasure yourself, get yourself there or warmed up even before you go and get your man. That's really the hack. Because it takes us on average about 40,
calculating a few
18,
things.
it takes us about 18 to 40 minutes to be aroused as women. So if we're not getting that type of foreplay,
Did you say 18 to 40?
18 to 40 minutes.
My God.
How did this begin?
Imagine
Girl,
if
I
you're on
will
the
be on my
40.
second dream by the time 40
Girl,
minutes come.
good night.
'Cause no, who has time for that?
No, but I mean, a lot of women, it
I agree,
takes that amount to have an orgasm. It takes that amount of time.
Girl, well, thank you,
Generally.
baby. Not at the Mallard home. We don't need
But I think
40
it's talking about the
minutes.
build up.
I'm talking exactly.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Overall
maybe it's you're sexting during
Yes.
the day.
Okay,
Yes.
you adding up
Yes.
all those minutes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Foreplay, whatever the minutes of foreplay are for you,
Gotcha.
everybody's body is different.
Okay.
For me, I would love a whole marathon session that starts at.
Oh my gosh.
No, but that start. I want you to because I got. Other
so
things
you're
going on, but-
you're giving rounds.
I mean, I'm giving experience.
Okay.
So it's not about the rounds. It's about intentionality,
Okay.
right? It's about we know it's going down tonight. Start me out at 5:30.
I know that's right.
I got you.
What are you doing at 5:30?
I just want to know what
No,
does that
I
start
get what
like?
she's saying. I
What's
get
the
what she's
start?
saying.
Experience
I get what
of
she's
it
saying.
is-
Is it him sending you a message like,
Yes.
baby.
Are we
like,
talking about
sending me
actual sex?
anything.
No,
No,
I get
I'm
what you're
not
saying.
talking. I'm not
I
talking
get what
about.
you're
So
saying. I already
again,
know what you're
for
saying.
me, I'm experiential and I'm sensory, right?
Uh-huh.
So for me, it might be my husband at 9:00 in the morning might come back, and do a little something down my back with his nails or
Got it.
something. I'm like,
Got it.
okay.
I
So
felt
that's how
that.
getting you started.
Right.
Agree.
Letting you know. And
Yeah.
because women are typically crock pots and not microwaves,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I know for me, because I've had a lot of sexual issues and I've been very open about my sexual issues, one of the issues is that I have anxiety about it because his sex drive was so much higher than mine that if I'm thinking every third day you doing this, I have anxiety about that. But if I know, like, okay, he's warming me up, he's sending me texts, he's rubbing my hair a little extra, I kind of know what time it is, so I'm
Period.
getting my mind already prepped
You're
for
getting prepared.
exactly.
That's so good. So good.
What you got, Nicole? 16 years, keeping
was
it
great.
spicy.
So mine's is a two-parter.
Okay, 2 parts.
So the first thing is, and it kind of piggybacks off what you were saying, know that the sexual experience starts outside of the bedroom. And I don't mean that even in a freaky way. Like,
Right.
I'm not talking about,
Doing it in the
busting-
kitchen.
Yeah, but to me, at where I am, at 41, 3 kids deep, down the road, if you see the dishes in the sink and you know that this is on your radar for the night, go ahead and get those dishes out the sink, because I don't need flirting while I'm washing dishes. You see what I'm saying? And I don't need flirting while I'm telling your kids to, finish your homework. It's time. I need you to say, watch out, babe. I got this, that, and the other. My husband knows that when he goes, if he pushes me to the side to step up and do whatever that is,
Go get
he
ready.
knows what's on the other. Right. Yeah.
Please.
So, so foreplay looks different
for everybody.
at 16 years down the road. Granted, you have your traditional foreplay, but there are some things, like you said, you got to get that engine started. And if I'm not in the mental space for it, I don't care what you kiss. Traditionally, that felt good 2 nights ago. It's not gonna feel good tonight because
I'm pissed off. I'm in a
because I'm
bad
pissed
mood.
off.
Yeah.
I
Tired.
can't get this stuff off the bottom of this pot
Yeah.
for the food I just cooked for your family.
Yeah, for
So,
your family.
Family.
Right, right.
It's hard to
Let's be
your
clear.
kids.
It's your family at
Your
this point.
kids. And then the second part is always stay in tune with your personal confidence. Because I realized, like, before I went on like a health journey recently and lost a bunch of weight or whatever, I realized how much that was affecting me. Even though my husband, bless his heart, he could not care about the pounds or whatever. I realized that it was affecting me, and it affects a lot of women. Even if their husband shows, no change as far as sexual drive is concerned. After babies, pounds
Self-conscious, no
coming.
matter what you think,
Right.
it's about how I feel.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then that automatically plays into how sexy you feel for your husband. And it doesn't even matter if if he is doing all the things and making you like he would do before the pounds came on or whatever. So, just making sure that you're confident and to not just perform, but just to be
to show up.
admired.
Good in your
Yeah.
skin.
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
That's a big thing.
that's me.
Huge.
So that was for me. Thank y'all for the advice. I do have a little piece of advice though. Something I'm actually excited about right now. I
Okay.
didn't have no advice, but then I thought of it. Bitch, you are doing something. Okay.
Yes, and they need to hear from you.
So let me tell y'all. So we're going on a vacation. My birthday's coming up, and we have a bucket list.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna go back to Target and drop them little papers in, and we just go.
Shit.
"Oh,
I
what
know
we
that's
doing now?"
I love
So I'm
this.
excited.
You
I'll
gonna
keep
be
y'all
on the
posted.
balcony.
I'll keep- That was
You
one of
are.
his contributions. That's
Yeah.
Listen, y'all.
Right.
Wifey is trying to keep it spicy.
I know that's
Ain't nothing
right.
wrong with
Faux lifey.
Love it.
Okay.
Forever.
So make sure y'all share this video with a friend. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I
Please.
know that y'all have not heard this advice.
No. No.
I am sure that y'all have not gotten the wives' wisdom that you picked up here on Wifed Up Now What. But we appreciate you for sticking around to the end.
Mhm.
Ladies, please let them know how they can follow you if they want to follow you on social media. If you have a website, anything that they can support, please let them know.
I am Get Mickey Bay, Get GetMickibey on all platforms, and my website is Get Mickey Bay as well.
Miss Ma'am?
So the best thing to do for me if you go to my personal page, Some Call Me Cole, you'll find all my business stuff in the
She
bio.
got a whole business. She ain't talking about it today, but go find
Yeah,
her. on
She's
yeah.
Instagram.
humble,
A
the
whole
whole-
But
business.
but I mean,
super
we're just
humble.
some call me Cole, but you'll find what I got going on in the bio.
Oh, that's
It's a
right.
mystery. So
You'll
come,
see
I love
me when you
It's not a
see
mystery.
me.
It's just like I'm not gonna take up half the time. To talk about
It's so
that.
much that she don't want to have time.
No.
So make sure, some call me Cole on Instagram. Y'all know
Yeah.
I'm Coriel.
Yes, and I'm TK.
Make sure y'all check down below so you can follow all of us on Instagram. Subscribe so you don't miss out on our next episode, and we'll catch you next week.